Dear learners, greetings of the day. I, Mohini Rasar, welcome you all for this session on champagne. In today's session on champagne, we will be studying about different types of champagne, understanding about how to read a champagne wine label, and to learn about different brands of champagne. Let's begin with what are the different types of champagne. The first champagne or the type of champagne that we are going to study is called as Blanc de Blanc. Blanc de Blanc is a champagne which is made entirely with white grapes only. Blanc stands for white in French. It translates to 100% of Chardonnay grapes being utilized in manufacturing of Blanc de Blanc champagne. When it is Blanc de Blanc champagne, it will always be mentioned on the label of the bottle. Moving to the next type, we have Blanc de Noir. Blanc de Noir, the name means white from blacks. As we know, while making champagne, there are 3 particular grapes that are utilized, and the varieties include of a white grape variety, which is Chardonnay, and 2 black grape varieties, which is Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, which are red or black grape varieties. When it is Blanc de Noir, it can be, or rather it is made completely from black grapes. The proportion can be entirely utilization of Pinot Noir grapes or Pinot Meunier, or it can be a combination of both. Accordingly, these are light colored champagnes that are made from juice of dark skin grapes, that is Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, or it can be a combination of both the grape varieties. And when it is a Blanc de Noir champagne, it is mentioned on the label. Moving ahead to the next type of champagne, we have something called as rosé champagne. Rosé or pink champagne, it is basically champagne which has rosé color. Taking a look at the picture, now let's understand how this rosé champagne is made. Ideally, while making a rosé champagne, there are 2 methods that can be utilized. The first method is blending method. In blending method, the basic or base of white wine and addition of red wine can be done to create a rosé. The second method that is utilized for making of rosé champagne is called as saignée, which means bleeding in French, or by bleeding method. Saignée basically means, or bleeding method means, the grapes, the black grape varieties that are utilized in production of rosé champagne are allowed to be, the grape juice is allowed to be in contact with the skin for a while until the desired color is obtained. However, it is very important to remember that the maceration or the grape skin has to be in touch with the grape juice only for a while, so around between 2 to 3 hours, as we are making a rosé champagne and not a red wine. Leaving the skin for a longer time in the grape juice will create a red wine and not a rosé champagne. Or the color of rosé champagne will turn from pink to reddish, which we do not want. Moving to the next type of the champagne, we have something called as vintage champagne. Now vintage champagne is created from the grapes belonging to a particular year only. The grapes that are produced in that particular year are considered with one of the best quality grapes of that particular production. Vintage year is decided by the authority which controls champagne production. Not every year can be vintage, and when it is a very specifically vintage champagne, the year is always mentioned on the bottle. Not all the years are deemed as vintage, and the decision is made by the individual houses. To consider a year as vintage, the points that they remember or the points considered are: the climate of that particular year was the best, the rainfall, which leads to the better yield or better production of grapes. And hence, vintage champagnes are or considered expensive. Moving to the next type, we have non-vintage champagne. A non-vintage champagne basically is a champagne that is blended from variety of up to 40 different wines of different years. Ideally, it does not belong to a single year, and hence, when it is a non-vintage champagne, you might not see the year of production on the label. Champagne producers will keep 20% of their harvest each year so that it can be utilized in future blends or while making future wines. Moving to the next part in this particular session, we shall talk about or study about something that is very fascinating about champagne, and that is champagne bottle sizes. What sets champagne apart from other sparkling wines is the impressive range of bottles or the sizes that are available in champagne bottles. A champagne bottle very specifically is made or have punt end. Punt end is the depression which is at the bottom of the champagne bottle, and it is necessary because it holds the pressure that is created during the secondary fermentation. Champagne bottle sizes, when we look at the table, you will see these names and it can be confusing. But after passing every smaller name like Magnum, there are different biblical names or biblical names that are given to different sizes of champagne bottle. A champagne bottle sizes or the range that is available is suitable for one person celebration or solo celebration, or to a bottle that can serve up to gatherings of several people around 100. Looking at the first type, we have Magnum. Magnum is a Latin word for great, and Magnum bottle is capable of containing double the amount of champagne. Ideally, it contains around 1.5 liters, and the number of glasses from that bottle can be poured is 12. The next one we have is Jeroboam. Jeroboam contains around 3 liters, or it is equivalent to around 24 champagne glasses. The name Jeroboam means he increases the people. The he, it is related or is the name of the first king who was the ruler of Israel. Moving to the next one, we have Methuselah. According to Bible, Methuselah is supposed to be one of the oldest person to ever live, and this particular champagne bottle is in the name of that person and is considered as honor for that person. It contains 6 liters or equivalent to 64 glasses of champagne. Next we have is Salmanazar, which is the variation of the name of 5 kings, and Salmanazar champagne bottle holds up to 9 liters, which is equivalent to 12 bottles or 72 champagne glasses. Next we have is Balthazar. Balthazar bottle contains around 12 liters of champagne or 96 glasses of champagne, and Balthazar, as per history, is the king of Arabia who presented the gifts to Jesus. We have next one, and that is Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is the name of the most greatest or most powerful of all the Babylonian kings, and Nebuchadnezzar bottle holds up to 15 liters, that counts around 120 flute glasses. The last one we have is Solomon. Solomon champagne bottle contains around 18 liters or around 144 glasses of champagne, and Solomon bottle is named again after the king of Israel. Solomon bottles are very rare to be found and can be found in France. Moving to the next part, let's understand how exactly do you read a wine label, or specifically champagne wine label. Like every wine bottle, champagne also has a label, and to understand what is present in the bottles of the bubbles that you're buying, why is it necessary to understand these abbreviations that you see on the label? The picture that you see is a very popular champagne label, Veuve Clicquot. It can be confusing, but it is easy to understand. First and foremost, the words that are mentioned are appellation or appellation champagne, which is authority which takes care and authorizes the method of production of champagne, understanding about what are the different grapes and where are they coming from in production of champagne. It guarantees that the grapes produced are from Champagne region or authorized regions in Champagne. It also guarantees that method traditional or method champenois has been utilized in for production. Also, the style of wine is defined by the level of sweetness or something called as dosage. Let me remind you again, dosage it also means liqueur d'expédition, which is a mixture of cane sugar and wine which is added to give the sweetness. There are different styles depending on the addition of sugar, where it can be labeled as brut, which stands for dry. There is extra dry, there is sec, there is demi-sec, and there is doux, which is very sweet. Then there is the brand of champagne. Also, we have percentage of alcohol by volume. It is important for a consumer and also for a seller to put that, for that to customer to understand what is the alcohol percentage of the wine. The next we have or we see is the bottle capacity. The bottle capacity is either mentioned in liters, centiliters or milliliters. Next we have the name of the producer or the company name. Now, one more point, it is year or vintage of the champagne. When it is a champagne bottle which is vintage, the year is mentioned on the bottle. If it is non-vintage, the year will not be mentioned because it's a blend of different years. However, some of the champagne houses also might have the year of vintage on the back of the bottle or on the back label. You also may find different information about what is the date of mise en cave. Mise en cave, basically when the wine was placed in the cellar for secondary fermentation, and what was the date of disgorgement. Date of disgorgement also gives a very crucial information about the time that is the bottle spent in cellars, the aging that it has gone through, and the more the champagne ages in the cellar, it is believed to develop with more complexity, aromas. Vast majority of champagnes are white. However, we just studied about different types of champagne, and hence if it is Blanc de Blanc, it would be mentioned on the label. If it is Blanc de Noir, it would be mentioned on the label as well. Now, let's take a look at different brands of champagne. It is important to know about champagne, but it is also important to know what are the different brands in the market that you can look up and buy, or you can suggest. It is important for a bartender or a person who is a wine enthusiast to know the different brands. The very popular that we have is Veuve Clicquot. Veuve Clicquot, which Veuve basically means widow in French, and Veuve Clicquot or Madame Clicquot, as seen in the history, has been given the credit for marketing or getting global recognition for champagne. This particular champagne house is also one of the most popular champagne houses that is globally recognized. Another popular brand, we have Long Perrier. Long Perrier is another champagne brand which is from the Mar. We have Moet Chandon. Moet Chandon is the brand name, and Dom Perignon, generally a confusion, is the name of the monk who played a very important role in understanding what is secondary fermentation. The next one we have is Bollinger. Bollinger again is a very popular brand in champagne. Thank you. All the students of AISSMS, please click on the link given below in the description to take a quiz on what are different types of champagne. Thank you. Happy learning.